Hi, this is my 5th grade science fair project. Not too long ago, we had some pretty bad winter weather. One of the problems the severe cold caused was the freezing of roads and bridges. We don't get a lot of very cold weather in the South, so it was a real problem. The frozen streets and bridges made it tough to drive and ended up causing a lot of car accidents. On television, the reporters kept talking about how road crews were putting sand and rock salt on the roads to help make driving easier. How can salt or sand keep ice from forming on roads? That didn't seem to make much sense until I decided to check it out online. It turns out that salt lowers the freezing temperature of water, and that is how it helps drivers during winter storms. It also has another very tasty application: making ice cream. If you're asking yourself how this works, so is I. And after finding out some information about experiments on the internet, I decided to check it out for myself. I wanted to know, what's the scoop? It's about ice cream. Get it? My hypothesis is that the salt will lower the freezing point the most, and that the sugar will lower the freezing point the least. My testable question is, which common household substance will reduce the freezing point the most? In order to conduct the experiment, you're going to need a few special things that might not be around your house, like a metric measuring cup, metric scale, a digital thermometer that reads to at least -10 degrees Celsius, and some test tubes. You probably have salt and sugar, which are the substances that are going to be tested. Since we aren't working with any other chemicals, we won't need any special safety equipment like goggles, gloves, or an apron. To start, we are going to make an ice bath by mixing regular ice from your refrigerator with salt. I'm going to cover a cup full of ice with between 1/4 and 1/2 of an inch with salt. Once this is mixed together, mix with a spoon. We can verify that the temperature is at least -10 degrees Celsius. Wow, look at the temperatures drop. Next, we are going to mix 3 different concentrations of salt water for testing. We ran into a small problem when following the online instructions and had to make a slight change to accommodate our scale. You see, the instructions called for parts of a gram to be used, but our scale measured in 5-gram increments. To work around this problem, I had to increase the amount of solution created. Here's the formula. Now that we have the 3 different solutions of salt, also known as sodium chloride, each one will be put into the ice bath, and then the temperature of the ice bath and solution will be checked several times for each solution. I will make a record of my time, temperature of the bath, and the temperature of the solution in my journal. If you are wondering why the solution is colored, I added a drop of food coloring to each test tube so they would be easier to identify. A, B, and C. Each solution has a different concentration, which is the amount of each substance added to the same volume of water. The term for measuring the concentration of a substance is called the mole. No, not the cute little animals that live in the ground, although they are spelled the same. Another term used to measure the concentration is the molality, which is the weight of the substance divided by the weight of the solvent. The solvent in our experiment is water. Once all the equipment has been cleaned, I'm going to repeat the procedure of measuring the substance, using sugar this time, to make the 3 different concentration solutions. Since it's a science experiment, I should probably call the sugar by its proper name, sucrose. After that, it's back to testing the temperature in the ice bath and recording the results in my journal. That's the testing part of the project. But before we can get to the ice cream, all the results need to be used in a calculation to see which substance does the best job of lowering the freezing point. It's important to know which substance makes the biggest change on freezing point by volume so that the most efficient substance can be used. Do you really want to have to use 4 or 5 or 100 times as much sugar to do the job of much less salt? The calculations aren't very easy, so I had to have some help. I mean, come on. It uses this stuff like this giant number called Planck's constant and this very special kind of math that chemists use called stoichiometry. Fortunately, we 5th graders don't have to worry about that until we're in high school. In conclusion, my hypothesis was incorrect. The third salt solution lowered the freezing point most, and the second sucrose solution lowered the freezing point least. Now we get to make the ice cream. Start by pouring 2 quarts of half and half into a large mixing bowl. Then add 2 cups of sugar, add 1 tablespoon of vanilla extract, and stir. Prepare the ice bath by mixing ice with some ice cream salt or rock salt. Now check the temperature of the ice bath. Now carefully add the custard solution into the ice cream maker. Hope you enjoyed my science project as much as I did.